Welcome to Planning and Development, Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting. I'm Gretchen Hanchett, Vice Chair, and let's begin with roll call, please.
Mrs. Root, Mrs. Hanchett,
Here.
Mr. Barnes,
Present.
Mr. Curran,
Here.
Mr. Havey,
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mr. Ricky,
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts Wales,
Here.
and Mr. Harris. 7 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for December 18th, 2024, last year. Can I have a motion?
Havey will move it. Curran second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, and at this point, we will acknowledge that we've received monthly reports from Ashley, Dr. Clark, Keir Durham, and Rita Slobeck Lynch. If we have enough time, I'm sure that there'll be some questions after that. So, thank you for coming. Next on the agenda is Director of Economic Development, Ashley Smith, and she is going to go over our 2025 marketing plan. So, welcome.
Thank you. I think Brenda is going to put it on the screen for us. There should be a presentation mode up there, Brenda. If you have your packet in front of you, I can just walk you through your packet.
Mine. Looks good. I'm anxious for you to give an overview of it.
Everybody, do you want me to just go ahead or?
Let's see if they can get it going. It really helps to follow along. Current slide.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't if you can't get it in presentation mode, we can just go off the screen. It'll be a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
but I'm going to talk through it anyways.
Okay.
All right. Keith, I can talk through it just like that is fine.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And now that I look at it, white font wasn't a great idea. So I'm already on a roll. So you were provided the 2025 Tourism and Economic Development Marketing Plan as the transition for tourism to my office was complete as of the end of the year. And so this is going to lump both of them together for marketing efforts. And let's see if I can All right. So the plan itself, we're just going to overview in today's meeting. And so we're looking at just a review of upcoming objectives, the strategy, and of course the 2025 campaign. Through collaborative efforts, we will showcase how Allegheny County is a destination of choice and focus on tourism businesses as well as gaps for new opportunities throughout the county while sharing stories and bringing awareness to the county as a whole. Our goal is to connect with target audiences while delivering strong messaging that's going to increase visitor traffic and spend. And so a quick look at what our current market looks like. Sadly, I wish I could do 24, but I have 2023 numbers provided by NYSTIA. 24 numbers are still being compiled. And so an overview from the statewide tourism perspective is that the state of New York had $136.7 billion worth of economic impact relative to visitor spend. So at a county level, we saw 28.4 million relative to visitor spend. That equates to about 2% of the state tourism efforts. And so, whether or not we remain that same percentage in 24 remains to be seen, but hopefully in 25, we can exceed that.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Before we move on. I know in the past reports, they used to show housing or second homes. Are they still showing that?
They did, yes.
Because I think it's an interesting market, how many
Sure.
people own second homes and where they're coming from. That could be really a key component or not the only component
Yep.
for the marketing. So I just wondered if they were still showing that.
They are still.
And it
and I
used
can
to be
share
one of
that.
our highest
Sure.
ones. So, thank you.
You're welcome. So that brings us to current situation relative to objectives and goals. And so for the year of 2024, there were 4 main objectives. Increase awareness of the brand, to increase first-time visitors, to increase total bed tax revenues, and then of course increase sales tax revenue relative to visitor economy. Where we are headed, these won't be anything you haven't really seen before. We are looking at our goals will be to promote the county for visitors and residents, to combine tourism and economic development efforts into our marketing tactics, to increase first-time and returning visitor counts, to bring awareness, promote events and businesses to a broader audience, and then to develop efforts that make us a destination of choice that encourages longer stays and returning visits. And so how are we going to do that? We're looking at a 2-year marketing strategy, and during the 2 years, we'll be working on all 5 objectives. And so we'll be crafting our messaging and, of course, refining what's currently out there. I'm not going to read every slide, so I'm just going to summarize these for you. We'll be completing objectives that blend economic development and tourism together with a focus on business attraction, expansion, and growth beyond our previous reach. We'll be implementing tracking efforts to monitor first-time and returning visitors in key categories. We'll be tracking distribution efforts and putting out new materials, and then growing collaborative partnerships inside and outside of the county. That's going to enhance our visitor experience. So all of these objectives will be monitored through measurable, deliverable reporting. And so we'll be looking at tracking and monitoring to give us those reporting metrics that will gauge our efforts and, of course, help us make adjustments to strategies along the way. And so for 2025, that campaign is in anticipation of, I'm going to call it a branding campaign, but ideally it is an effort to bring tourism and economic development together in one marketing effort. We're looking at a unified front, and so ideally we're probably going to be discussing a logo that supports all of it. Promoting the EDO, of course, is going to be a part of that, looking at new website, updating print materials and collaterals, introducing new marketing efforts, and then having that unified marketing campaign that has a path for tourism and a path for economic development, but they have a unified message. It's a little small, I apologize. So when we're talking about the branding campaign, again, a logo that's going to represent both efforts, keeping some of the items that are previously known and marketed. So keeping the previous Live Deliberately tagline, but ideally adding a little bit to it to support the economic development side, which is dreaming authentically. We would be looking at having a tourism slogan and, of course, the economic development slogan. And so that's how those sort of melt together and work beautifully. The campaign itself, the concept here would be Authentic Allegheny. And the idea is to tell the story and share our history throughout the county, supporting businesses, but also encouraging visitors to come and explore if they've never been here or return if they've been here previously. The idea is to promote rural travel and development, and then, of course, bring awareness to the county as a whole. And so how that campaign is going to unfold, we will be looking at our direct market, so relative to tourism, anything that is inside of a 6-hour radius is what I'm calling a direct market. So one strategy of that marketing campaign is relative to New York State. Another strategy of that same campaign is going to be looking at an 8-hour drive or a short flight, disposable income, and so this broadens the horizon a little bit for people. It's easy to get here, but maybe not a weekend trip. And then we're looking at an expanded market, which we're going to call the East Coast strategy. And so that's going to be the East Coast, Canada, and essentially looking at those seasonal traveler visitors. Relative to economic development, we're on a national platform. And so the idea here is just going to be a strategy to reach out to all site selectors throughout the country. And so how we plan on doing that is looking at, I'll say, a revamp of our website. And so this is broken down quarterly in each of these segments. We'll be looking at a website redesign, increased social media presence, continue growth in digital marketing efforts, and then expanding our digital content and online presence. We'll also be maintaining our current radio efforts and expanding if possible, revamping our print materials and expanding reach with those, bringing regular newsletters and blogs to the community, and utilizing media where applicable. We'll be assessing, participating, and creating events with our local partners and providing feedback for those, and then maintaining all of our strategic partnerships that have been in place for previous years. A little detail relative to the marketing side on the digital marketing side. Our efforts will be that all of our print materials are available online. That's going to help in a couple facets. One of those is cost effectivity, but the other is just accessibility, as well as offering, embedding those materials in newsletters and social media, and so putting them in front of a broader audience. We'll also be creating what we call a multi-channel marketing approach, and so what you see in print, there's a variation of it in the digital space, and it all creates the same story. Same kind of goes for the print side. It will be a similar effort. All of our materials are going to get a facelift. We'll be looking at bringing in new materials to the community, as well as making those available online. And then we'll tie it all together in the cross-channel marketing campaign. As far as events go, sorry, I think I went backwards. Uh-oh. Brenda, can you click down for me? Yep, thank you. As far as events go, you'll see pretty much the same events that we've done historically relative to NYSTIA and our distribution efforts, our regional partners, and then the Genesee River Wilds. We're still maintaining Fresh Air Adventure and all that, so.
Okay, I know you know this, so is it confusing to people when they see Chautauqua Allegheny with an H in it, do you think?
Absolutely.
There's nothing.
But I can't do anything about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We've all been there. I'm sure.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, can I make it work? Okay. So what does all of this look like relative to spend? It's perfectly within the budget that has been allocated. In your packet, you saw a little bit of detail. These bubbles are very small, but if it's in green, it means that that is the I Love New York match. And so those funds will be aided by that. We have identified allocations for each bucket that's on the screen that's going to support the objectives that I gave you an extremely high level of today. And ultimately, it does encompass tourism and economic development, so everything is represented there. That was a 600,000-foot view of what that looks like, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have so long as it doesn't get too detailed because I may not have all the answers.
I shared with Ashley that I started writing down questions. By the time I got through the marketing plan on that overview, they pretty much were answered. So I think you did an excellent job. I like the slogans, simple and to the point. Thank you. Any other questions from anybody else? Jan?
You're using a lot of online presence and webs. Who's going to maintain all that and make sure it's kept up to date?
Are we talking about the website?
Listing and things like that. I mean, those change on such a rapid,
Yep.
and I know it's hard to keep stuff like that up to date, but for this, I think it's pretty important.
Absolutely. Previous in 2024, you all were gracious enough to allow me to purchase a piece of technology that is a CRM system. That is how all of that will stay up to date. So it actually I'm going to create a business portal for our local business owners to be able to log in and update their information on their own. You're welcome. A lot of the stuff can actually be done through that system. And then, of course, our third-party vendor that assists with digital marketing.
Any other questions? Legislator Fenton?
Yeah, would it be possible for us old guys, if you could see those pages that you're looking at, print out a couple extra, so
Absolutely.
we could have a handout?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure.
Just in general, like when you do hashtag whatever, do you have to control that? Like, say I post something and I put your hashtag on it. Do you have to watch things like that too? Or is that something that we don't have to worry about, or?
I worry about when people start tagging us in things,
Yeah.
and that is monitored, but hashtags are a free-for-all for anyone. Right now, I have a select few if you follow our social media, which everybody should follow our social media. So those will align with the campaign. And those are public. So if our profile is set to public, anybody who looks up that hashtag sees Maryland, California, Allegheny County.
Any other questions? We look forward to moving forward and the details as we move along.
Perfect. So at this time, I would like to ask for your head nod approval for me to carry out the marketing plan. And if I'm okay, I can roll into my MOE.
Okay, that would be fine.
Okay.
You ready? Yep.
I came prepared. So I did provide an MOE. The Office of Economic Development is requesting a resolution that will authorize the approval of the marketing plan and will grant the county administrator the authority to execute all the contracts that are necessary to execute the marketing plan. So long as all of these contracts remain in budget, which they all will. However, if an expenditure does fall outside of the approved budget, those would come back to committee for approval.
Rick, you move. Can I have a second?
Helio second.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your support.
You're welcome. Let's see, let me go back to this. Marketing plan. We also have a couple other action items on here. And the next one is seeking authorization to apply for RFA 0262, County Agricultural Farmland Protection Planning Grants. The Office of Planning is seeking, would you be doing this one? Go ahead. You can.
Hello.
Hello.
This is related to the plan that was last updated in 2006. We met with Soil and Water and the Cornell Cooperative Extension staff, and we've been discussing updating this for quite a while, but this round of grants is just opened, and so we're going to move forward with that. I don't know if you want me to actually read all that or not. Hopefully not, because I didn't bring my glasses.
No. So can I have
Okay.
a motion for
Haley will
this?
move it.
A second, please?
Havy will second.
Any other questions or comments?
Gretchen.
Yes, Legislator Burdick.
Will this affect any of the solar projects as far as ag, going on ag land?
Well, it's going to be we have to go back and look at what was in the old one, and what the state prescribes goes into one of these plans. We haven't done that step, so I can't answer that today.
Legislator Burdick, I also had that question in regards to the agricultural district number 4, our review of that, and I've spoke with Scott Torrey, so he and I are also looking into that as well. And once we have an answer, we'll let you know.
And another thing to add, I understand that the state has also added wetland.
They've modified their wetlands mapping
Yes,
process.
so, which is really kind of affecting a lot of different things with the solar projects and
all
wind.
projects.
All projects.
It was
So,
radical.
okay, so do we approve this yet? All in favor? Aye. So while we have Kier up here, is there any questions from his report?
I just wanted to thank Kier for helping the town of Hume with their plan,
Thank
their
you.
comprehensive plan. I went to a meeting the other night and it was very well attended.
It was very well attended. Probably one of the most attended public hearings I've ever had for a comprehensive plan. Thank you. And
Yeah.
ended up playing. I don't know what the nice word is, director or something for the meeting for a while.
Conductor?
Yeah.
No. Anyway, I guess I have a question also, or comment about the Trails Master Plan?
Yes.
And when are we starting that?
So we put out the RFP,
Okay.
and
Oh, we haven't got it back
did we
yet.
do the approval on that?
I thought we did too.
All right, my mind's not fully on that particular topic, but we did the RFP, we selected a consultant, and we have, in fact, have a meeting tomorrow with the consultant, so we must have approved that.
Yeah,
So,
I think we did too.
and so we're starting,
So
this
it's
is our
determined.
kickoff meeting tomorrow.
Okay, good.
So
I'm
if-
anxious to see that get underway.
Excuse my being naive, but when you talk about those trails, are we talking about hiking, riding bike, ATV and motor and snowmobile, all of them, right?
Equestrian.
Equestrian?
bike,
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we'll try to pull together all the stakeholders and get their ideas of what are the needs and future projects, and try to capture all that information in there. There's some in the field review also built into this, and so the county doesn't really own very many trails, so most of them are owned by someone else, and that's going to make it a challenging project a little bit because you have so many other players.
So, and one last comment I'll make, so I have time to have the others step up for a minute. Oops, yes.
You approved that on December 20th, so we
Okay.
did, just recently though.
Okay, good. I was glad to see the collaborative efforts in working with the county fair,
Yes.
and maybe giving some guidance and direction and
Yes.
utilizing that grant that they got. So thank you for that effort.
Well, this is like running parallel with the grant, and we've been working with them since August, and we have nearly complete strategic plan done with them now.
Awesome, I'm
So
glad to hear
just
that.
since August, so that it has to go through their process internally, and then they'll be using that going forward for a whole bunch of objectives and strategies to
Well,
knock it out.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I know that we're running a little bit behind, but I wanted to, Rita, do you have anything that you want to point out on your report? Any questions for Rita? We do appreciate you coming to the meetings, so. Dr. Clark, do you have anything you want to point out, or anybody have questions?
Yeah, the only thing I.
You might want to come up to the,
Sorry.
Don't forget your other memos.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, the only thing I'd point out is the EPA grant is, we're looking for a consultant to run that for the IDA. And that'll be, hopefully, we'll find somebody by end of February.
Okay.
So we did get that all taken care of. The Brownfield grant is now operational.
Do you know what locations that you're going to prioritize with that yet?
Well, obviously Wellsville, because Wellsville's where most of the potential is, but the whole county.
All right.
No,
thank
we're
you.
not looking at any one place.
All right. Any other questions for Dr. Clark? No. All right. Before I go too far, we do have one more MOE that we need to go through. Carrie, you going to read that one?
A request to fill the Deputy Director of Planning position.
Okay.
Currently held by Michelle Linza. This is her last week. And I'm looking to fill that as soon as it can work its way through the process.
Okay. Can I have a motion for this, please?
Ricketts Wales will move that.
Helio, second.
Any questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
So is moved. Thank you.
And then there's the Community Development Block Grant, which
Okay.
officially came from Carissa.
I don't have it.
Whatever. That's true.
This one is really a collaborative effort between my office and Kiers to write this MOE. Kier and I recently sat with our rep from New York State to go over the grant requirements, but we did get the grant for the housing study, and it is a grant of $50,000. This would be passing a resolution to authorize us to accept the grant, appropriate the money, and have the chairman execute the grant agreement.
Can I have a motion, please?
Rick, you move.
Hayfield second.
Any comments or questions? Happy to see it moving forward. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
So is moved. Okay, let's see. Good of the order.
Gretchen,
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil.
excuse me. And
Legislative.
it came to mind, somebody triggered it. When I was reading all this stuff yesterday, I think it was in Ashley's report about Wiskoy Falls and RG&E, but I think a resident told me that the owner has blocked off the whole parking area now. And,
That is correct.
Yeah. Is there any-
That land was acquired, I'm not exactly sure when, I don't know if you have the date, but it changed hands. A fence has been put up. I did look at just the property maps to see if there was an encroachment, and if there is not, the property goes down to the water, so there is no access there. I have been in contact with RG&E to have a conversation about if they're willing to develop a community space in that area on their side. They are meeting this week, and I should have follow-up from their government relations and economic development person hopefully next week.
Okay. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Any other questions? All right. I will call for adjournment.
Rick, you move.
Ricketts Swales, second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.